For as the world gathers to cheer on their favorite teams and devour every morsel of football goodness, one player has decided there is more meat to this event than simply seeking to score goals: the vampire athlete. The safety of all concerned, and of course the Americans prepping for what could be an historical meeting with Germany. Welcome in from Recife, Brazil, a great friend from years of covering sports in South Florida, where she has been one of the best at what she does for the Miami Herald. Michelle Kaufman is covering the World Cup and with us on Midpoint. Michelle, thanks for joining us.
Sure, thanks for having me.
We have to start, I guess, with Luis Suarez here and the biting incident. The last time I looked says he may be booted from the tournament. I'm shocked they haven't given him the boot yet, or at least given him a sandwich and sent him home.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they have to go through all the protocol because the ref didn't see it, so it was not officially, it's not officially an infraction that happened during the game until the ref acknowledges it, and there has to be paperwork, and FIFA has to look at it. But clearly, there's video evidence, and that he did bite him, and it's a problem. This is the third time he's done this to an opponent, so he definitely has a pattern of being a biter, and I absolutely expect that he'll be booted from the tournament. I don't think there's any question that'll happen. I'd be shocked if it didn't.
You know, it's funny, too, but with 175-to-1 odds, a Norwegian man placed some bet that apparently made him about $1,000. Gamblers were placing bets that Suarez would bite. The largest winner took home $3,300. I mean, this isn't a shock to those of you who cover soccer. I mean, this guy is a little bit of a... I'm trying to stay away from the words wingnut, but I think I'll go ahead and use that anyway because maybe it fits best.
Yeah, well, he's known as, it's a shame because he is one of the best players in the world. He led the English Premier League in scoring this year. I mean, he was the top scoring player in the English Premier League. He played great the other day, scored 2 goals for Uruguay, and he's one of the best, probably in the top 5 players in the world. But he definitely has a temper, and he's known as a bad boy in the sport. He's had multiple big-time suspensions, 8-game suspension, 10-game suspension, and 2 of the suspensions were for biting. So this is the 3rd time with him, and it's a reactionary thing. Obviously, I'm sure he's not thinking about it, and he subconsciously he just goes for the bite, and it's very dangerous, and I think he's going to be booted.
It's a shame that True Blood is ending its run after this season because I think they could always use somebody else as a new vampire. I wanted to ask you, too, seeing as you are there was an awful lot of talk before the World Cup about security for Americans, for people there, that it would be very difficult and very dangerous. We saw an incident where there was a breakthrough, a stadium security, and a media room was trashed. But in your personal experience and where you've been, have you felt safe being in Brazil?
Yes, I've felt completely safe, and I find that this is my 6th World Cup, and I've done 13 Olympics, and it's always the same song and dance. It was the same before Sochi. It was the same before South Africa. Even before the London Olympics, there was talk of, bombings on the subways and this and that, and we're all scared and terrified when we get to these places, and then after a couple days, you realize, I feel safe. I mean, it's no different from going to Miami. If someone were to say Miami's a dangerous city, well, yeah. If you walk around at 2 o'clock in the morning in certain neighborhoods in Miami, that's a very bad idea. And it's the same here. I have felt completely safe everywhere I've gone. Now, again, I'm not walking around by myself alone at night, but I've been in 5 cities already, including Sao Paulo, which is a huge city of 12 million people. And I haven't felt scared at all. Everybody has been very warm, very welcoming. The mood around the stadiums is almost 99.9% joyous and festive, and people in all of their uniforms and costumes dancing and singing together. So, the first day there was a protest. 300 people protested in a city of 200 million. So, I think sometimes the images that the media show are very disproportionate to what's actually happening.
All right, a few minutes we have left here. I guess we have to talk about this game that's coming up on Thursday here. I have to tell you, I was watching one of the alphabet networks, so they were doing a live shot from Brazil, and one of the commentators was talking about, you better watch out. Jurgen Klinsmann, head coach of the United States, there might be a little deal here with the Germans. Maybe everybody just plays nice and light, comes out on a tie, and everybody's happy. I was a little bit offended by that. I guess it's my competitive nature that gets in here thinking, I can't imagine for a minute that anybody would want to cut some kind of a deal here. I think Klinsmann wants to just beat the snot out of Germany and do everything he can to win this game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, both he and the German coach, Coach Joachim Low, both said the same thing, that There's no way. And the players said the same thing. It's not in their DNA, they said. It's not in their nature. These are the world's top athletes. They're not going to go out there and just tank it to get a tie. And especially, especially because of the history with Jurgen Klinsmann in Germany. I mean, he was the coach of the German team in 2006, and a lot of people in Germany criticized him and said that he was, a great motivator but not a great tactician. And so he had many, many critics in Germany. I'm sure he would like to prove them wrong. There are also 5 German-American players on the U.S. team that all basically were not quite good enough to make the German team. So you think those guys are going to want to play hard against Germany to show that, hey, we're not as bad as you thought we were. We can play against you. And Jermaine Jones was one of the last cuts from the German national team for the 2008 European Championships. He thought he was on the team. At the last minute, Coach Lowe dropped him. So he is going to have a lot of personal motivation to do great in this game. So I don't think for a minute that they're going to go for a tie. I think both teams are absolutely going for the kill, going for the 3 points to get first place in the group and move on.
30 seconds in, I'll give you a chance. Here we go. I know that you have watched these games more than almost anybody. How do you see a game going?
Well, objectively, I mean, I have to say the German team would be heavily favored to beat the United States. If you go player by player, the leagues that those guys play in, the technical ability that those guys have versus the guys on the U.S. team. That said, the U.S. team has played with amazing spirit. I think they were really bummed about the way this last game ended, and they know that all of the excitement back home, all of the buzz, the big watch parties, people going to bars and gathering at homes to watch and root for them, that's all going to be over in an instant if they lose this game.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of motivation for the U.S., and I could see it ending in a tie, not because of a deal, but because it really ends in a tie.
Okay, I like that.
I think it would be very hard for the United States to beat this team. I mean, I may be wrong, but I would say that either Germany will win a close game and the U.S. still advances, because they can still advance even with a loss.
All out of time, Michelle. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and take you on that. But listen, I appreciate your time, really. We'll talk to you again. Thank you, Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Get on the bandwagon. We'll take America tomorrow. We'll return on Midpoint.